Hello everybody, it is your Sam again, and I'm here with another video. Today I have another story for you. It is a story from the Character Randomizer that we did back on the 24th. I will have the playlist for all the Character Randomizers and the stories that were made from them linked down below in the description. I have a somewhat interesting character for this one, and at the end I will tell you a little bit about the next Character Randomizer that is coming up, because it's going to be a little different. For this character, I cannot do a squeaky voice, and neither can my husband, so you're just going to kind of have to imagine a squeaky voice. I will try to differentiate it a little bit from my normal speaking voice, but you will also be able to see the quotation marks around where he's speaking in the video here. My character's name is Quztl Jem. I only rolled a U, so I had to add an E in there too. But yeah, he's blonde, very blonde, and has pale orange skin except for his wings, which I made kind of like a caution cone orange. And he is tiny and very light, and he's also a Lovecraftian predator, which I went with a Cthulhu type. So his tentacles, you know, like the tops and everything, are kind of orange, and then kind of pale yellow to yellow on the bottom for his hair color, because he doesn't really have hair. And yeah, he is great with children for some odd reason, and he's also very argumentative, which I didn't really show here in this story because there wasn't kind of a way to show it all that much. He has a very odd voice, which I just can't do. His job is in religion, and that just fits right there. I hope you enjoy this story, because without further ado, we're just going to jump right in. It's very short, so it won't take long at all. Darkness, blackest of black waters, I shall crawl from and bring forth that darkness for all eternity. For all shall suffer in despair for my sight. A tinkling giggle gave pause to the waving tentacles of yellow and orange, the tender colors of the young of his kind. His caution cone orange wings arched, the white clawed tips pointing to the child that dare break into his story with such a ridiculous sound as a giggle, a laugh, laughter in their presence. How do you do that? Your voice is funny. The little girl giggled again, tapping her finger against the curled talon at the top fold of his wing before running agile fingers down the leathery webbing. A tendril of something like electricity tingled through him from her touch on his wing down to the very depth of his chest. A tinkle of a sound bubbled through his beak under the waving tentacles. That's how the sound was made. It was a pleasant feeling, was it not? That feeling of her hands along his wings made the sound. Wait. My voice? My voice is not funny. His tentacles and wings folded close to his body. I'm just young. He forbade himself to ever sulk in the presence of these young humans, but there he was, breaking his own laws. Laws were made to be broken. Revelry, killing, joy, all those things were to be had. Darkness, mayhem, laughter. He stared around with large, watery black eyes as the children began braiding his tentacles. The limbs arranged around his mouth and chin tangled easily around their little fingers, sometimes refusing to bend to their will, and others knotted together at their bidding. Magic. What curses did human children possess to tame his tentacles so? Stop! Stop that! His short little arms swatted at their long ones even as his tendrils clutched at their fingers. Now, sit and listen. Hush! He shooed them back to the carpet and the globulous things they called bean bags. When are we going to talk about God? The young Cthulhu child hissed in pleasure as he ran his clawed fingers over his tangling tentacles at his chin. Now, child, as you wish. His voice screeched. The depths of the ocean shall hold us no longer, for we shall rise out of the dark depths to... That's not right, the boy huffed. You're supposed to talk about the one true God, the one that sends people to save us, to keep us sinless, to guide us to heaven and good. The mockery of it. He fell back on the blue bag full of beans that weren't beans. They tasted awful. His body made a plastic splashing sound, and he heaved a sigh, feeling himself sink into the sticky bag. Sunlight peeped through the cracks in the heavy navy window curtains, defying his darkness. One broken line of the foul brightness was upon the boy who spoke of the beliefs. Since when was a God that made no appearances so loved over those that were right before them? Listen here, you little polluted air breather and soon-to-be breeder of your kind. I am talking of a God. There are many gods, but there is not a one that is as powerful as us. His wings flapped, spread wide on the bag behind him, and he pushed against the bag to rise back to standing. His short legs made his bare, webbed feet slap against the cool, thick floor the humans invented for their comfort. Don't you want to be free to choose what is right and wrong? To guide yourselves? He watched large eyes of many different colors blink at him. So young. Not a lot of cell action going on in their little heads yet. Not that there was much in the adults of the species either. Ice cream! Daily! Whenever! Don't you want that? That got some resounding yeses and excited nods. Now he was on the right path. With sprinkles and chocolate, you can have the ice on a stick too. His favorite was the chocolate. It was nearly as dark as his soul, but not quite. His tentacles writhed in anticipation with the sweet cold treat, and his beak clacked of its own mind. Free from the oppression of the oppressors! What was that little chime? He turned his head, glaring toward the door to the outside, the brightness, and the covered windows there. Something chimed outside them, slowly moving closer. He watched as one or two of the kids picked up on it too. The excitement in their eyes made it grow in his black heart. Oh yes, speaking of, ice cream time! Their squeals rebounded in his ears, and he nearly collapsed into the bean bag again. At least that plastic bean sound was far more welcome than the happy screams of children. If only they weren't so close. Then he could picture those squeals being the happiness of destruction, of true freedom, of true choice, of mayhem. He sighed, watching them run out the door. He wished, for a moment, that the truck wouldn't stop, so he could entice them to chase it down the street, beat it down, and take all the ice cream hostage. All the other little boys and girls would cry and wonder where their ice cream truck was. With a gleeful wiggle of his claws and tentacles, he followed the children out, hovering near the long stems of the adult. She wasn't alone. I just don't know what they find so funny about that one kid. They're so in tune with him. It's just creepy. And he's always wearing this ridiculous orange hat and those crochet beard things with the tentacles. He clacked his claws together at her description of him. The adults saw him as a small child, one of their own. But the children, no, they saw him for who he really was. The young ones would then tell the teachers and the adults in their lives about the ruler of the deep, the darkness, the dark one, the one and all-powerful Chonka! Kids. They could never pronounce anything right. Here! The kid thrust a fudge stick at him. He took it in his claws, quickly ripping off the paper. Such a good minion, child. He ate it quickly, For yet another child had another one for him. Yes, he was reaching them, bending them to his will. Even the child that questioned whether he was a god or not. Yeah, one at a time for the little humans. His claws tapped happily against the sticks as each tentacle was squeezing one of them tightly. "Thank you, my clever little children," he crooned with a squeak. One day, he would have the entire world like this. That's it. I hope you enjoyed Quztl Jem and his little horde of children that he is, going to create as his first followers, I guess. So tell me what you thought. And also, the next Character Randomizer is going to be the 4th weekend in August. I will tell you a set date whenever it gets closer. And it is going to be themed this time. That's what's going to make it a little bit different. The theme is going to be pollinators. And not just bees. We're talking bees and bats and hummingbirds and the lace wings and all that good stuff. So look forward to that, and if that interests you in any way, leave a comment down below or on any of my Instagram posts about being interested in joining the August Character Randomizer stream, and I will add you to the Instagram group or to the email list, or both, and we will see you up on screen with us and we will have fun. The Character Randomizer streams usually last about 1 hour, so they won't take up too much of your time. Hopefully it'll be on a Friday night or Saturday night or evening, and we'll go from there. Thank you again for watching and giving a listen. As always, be kind to one another out there. Be kind to yourself. Stay safe. Keep writing and keep being creative, and I will see you next time.